hello. Look, if you're watching this, it probably means you or someone you care about has just received a mesothelioma diagnosis. And I just want to start by saying I know this is an incredibly difficult and overwhelming time. That's exactly why we put this guide together, to cut through the confusion and give you the clear, immediate information you need about your legal rights here in Scotland. So let's get right into it. You know, this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? When you're dealing with mesothelioma, your whole concept of time just changes. It becomes the single most pressing thing in your life. The real challenge, and what we're going to break down today, is how you navigate a legal system that, frankly, just wasn't built for that kind of speed. So, a race against time. And that's not an exaggeration, because a mesothelioma claim is just, well, it's fundamentally different from almost any other kind of personal injury case. Okay, look at this comparison, because it really lays out the problem perfectly. Think about a standard personal injury claim, right? The system kind of assumes, hey, this might take a few years, but the person will be around at the end. But with mesothelioma, that assumption is completely shattered. It's a terminal illness where time is not a luxury. Here, the claimant's own survival, that is the deadline. And that changes everything.
And this number, 12 to 18 months, this is the one that matters most. But it's so important for you to understand this isn't a legal deadline. This is not something a court sets. This is the human deadline. It's the typical survival time after diagnosis, and it has to drive every single decision, every part of the strategy, right from day one.
All right, so let's talk about the actual deadlines. You've probably heard about a 3-year rule, and we need to be really, really clear on what that actually means for you. So everything kicks off with a legal concept called the date of knowledge. The easiest way to think about it is like a starting pistol for the legal clock. And for most people, it's pretty simple. It's the day your doctor told you, you have mesothelioma and it was caused by asbestos. That's it. That's day one when that 3-year clock technically starts ticking. And this timeline just shows you the whole picture perfectly. See that 3-year mark way out at the end? That's the official legal limit. But look closer, that 12 to 18-month window, that's the real deadline. The entire goal, everything we're fighting for, is to get this claim resolved inside that much, much shorter window. That 3-year limit, it's just a backstop. It is not the goal. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually fast-track your claim. How can we use the system's own tools to your advantage? So here's the good news. You're probably thinking, how on earth is this even possible with such a tight timeline? Well, the Scottish courts, they get it. They absolutely recognize the urgency here. Both the Court of Session and the All Scotland Sheriff Personal Injury Court have special procedures built just for cases like this. Your solicitor can file something called an application for expedition right at the very beginning, which basically tells the court, hey, this one needs to jump to the front of the line. And the way it works is actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, your solicitor files that application for expedition. Step 2, they back it up with a medical report that confirms your diagnosis and your prognosis. And then step 3, the court looks at that evidence and says, okay, we see the urgency. And they set a whole new compressed timetable for the entire case. We're talking about taking a process that could take months and shrinking it down into weeks. But what about right now? I mean, it's great that the case can be sped up, but what about money for care and support today? Because the bills don't wait for a court case to finish, right? Well, the system has an answer for that too. It's something called interim payments. And this is absolutely crucial. It's a way for you to get part of your compensation money early on. The whole idea is to help with the costs you're facing right now. Things like treatment, maybe making changes to your home, or just dealing with the financial pressure of not being able to work. It's a lifeline while the rest of the claim moves forward. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. We've talked about the courts and the lawyers, but now we need to talk about the single most powerful piece of evidence there is, your story. And this is the evidence that you have to capture now. Seriously, think of this as your immediate to-do list. We need your detailed work history, every employer, every site, every job title. We need the specifics of the asbestos exposure. What did it look like? Was it lagging on pipes? Insulation? And just as important, what wasn't there? Were there warnings? Did they give you masks? And who else worked with you? Can you remember any names of former colleagues? Getting all of this down on paper now, while you have the energy and clarity to do it, is just, it's beyond critical. And I can't stress this enough. As this quote says, the claimant's own account of their working history is one of the most important pieces of evidence in the entire case. It's not just a detail, it is the absolute foundation that the entire claim is built on. It's the one thing that only you can provide.
Okay, so what happens next? Let's talk about the safety nets that are in place to secure your family's future, because it's natural to worry about the what ifs. And probably the biggest what if is this one. What if my old employer is gone, or their insurer can't be found? I mean, this exposure could have happened decades ago. It's a completely valid fear. But the good news is, it's not the end of the road. There's a safety net built for this exact scenario. So, you basically got two main routes. The first is a civil claim. That's what you do when you can find the old employer or their insurer, and you go for 100% of the damages. But if they vanished, you have the Diffuse Mesothelioma Payment Scheme, or the DMPS. This is the safety net. It's for when you can't trace anyone, and it pays out around 80% of what an average civil claim would be. It's an absolutely vital option to have. And this might be the most important thing for you to hear. If you pass away before the claim is settled, the claim does not end. It doesn't just disappear. Your executor can continue it on behalf of your estate, and your family can even make their own separate claim. So please know, the fight to secure their future will continue.
All right, we've gone over a lot, so let's boil it all down to your immediate action plan. Here are the 4 steps you need to take in the next few days.
Okay, here we go. Step 1, contact a solicitor who specializes in mesothelioma claims in Scotland. Not a general lawyer, a specialist. Step 2, start writing down everything you can remember about your employment and exposure history. Just start. Step 3, gather up all your medical documents, your diagnosis letter, any reports, all of it. And step 4, talk to your immediate family. Make sure they understand what's happening with the situation and the claim. Every single one of these things is about one thing: saving time. And that really brings us to the final, most important takeaway. When it comes to a mesothelioma claim, every single day counts. The system is built to move fast, but it can't start until you do. So please, get the advice you need. Not next week, today.